Yo, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Sid Devon the Mogul, and welcome to episode 2 of my podcast entitled I Don't Want to Talk About It. In season 2, we're taking it up another level, and we're calling this space, this area, the empty room. So welcome to the empty room, and I got my homeboy in the building with me. Y'all heard him last season, and like I said, we got visual. We on YouTube now, so y'all are going to be able to put faces with the voices. So I got my boy back in the building, Mr. Aaron Mickens. What's up, brother?
What's going on, man? Happy to be here.
Yeah, thank you, man, for coming. I can't call it. I'm blessed to be here, blessed to be a man, brother.
Yes, sir. Yes,
blessed
sir.
and I'm
Me
loving
too.
it.
Manhood is a beautiful thing.
Absolutely, it is. So on today's episode, we're gonna dive right in.
Okay.
So it's gonna be a little bit controversial, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But I know you can handle it. You
Yes,
know what I
sir.
said? I know my brother.
I'm all
right?
for it.
You all for it? So today's episode, we are calling the Will and Jada effect. Now listen, hear me out. Hear me out, okay? I'm not here to bash Will or Jada Smith. I'm not. Do I have my own personal opinions? Of course, everybody does. However, I wanted to talk about a certain subject when it comes to actually, you can say it kind of plays on the relationship. It's more face value, if you will.
Okay.
Face value, right? So we know we all up in the tabloids, we on social media, we see what's going on, what the world is talking about, Jada and Will Smith. But I want to touch on a certain subject, and like I said, it's face value. So I want to talk about, and then say we can talk about Will, right?
Okay.
I can actually relate, again, face value. I can actually relate with what I see the world and, you know, it's kind of putting Will through in so many words, right?
Mm-hmm,
I've been in a position where I've been in relationships where it seemed as though, not even seemed as though on my part, I loved the woman more than they loved me.
Right.
And how much that affected me, right? And so that's what I want to touch on today.
Okay.
I want to actually touch on what men are actually feeling when they're in those type of predicaments, right? Mm-hmm. Being in love and loving someone who does not love you back, and what kind of damage you can actually do to a man, if you will, right? So I know I have my history we're gonna get in, but I want to talk to my brother here, and we've discussed over the phone, you know, different times, you know, even your relationship because you were married at one point, and so I want to be able to talk about that, how it made you feel, and hopefully what we say today will be able to help men who are actually going through this, because I don't care what nobody says, men want to be loved correctly as well.
Absolutely. Need to be.
We do. We need to be.
Yeah.
It's a necessity. And so we're going to talk about it. So let's just dive right in. Aaron, brother, we relate on a lot of different levels, especially when it comes to growth and being in, I guess you can say, in the wrong relationships. So please, let's start, man. Tell me a little bit about, you know, what your testimony was when it came to, you know.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So being a youngin', you know, leaving no excuse to my ignorance. I got in a relationship and I was so convinced that God was leading me in that direction. And you know, I did not realize at the time how I was not in tune with the voice of God. And I was more in tune with my feelings and my emotions and my sense of logic, rather than an understanding from the Holy Spirit that superseded all of that. So needless to say, that led me into the wrong direction. And I was convinced because I, in my mind, decided that God was telling me this. And so that just put it, you know, gas to the fire. That just...
You were pretty much made covenant with it.
Absolutely. I was in agreement with it, and I was just convinced. And so it led me to, it kind of desensitized my sense of discernment, my judgment, all of that was just, you know, dormant. And I let all my guards down, and I was just convinced. And so basically I just got in a relationship with someone, and I started to notice from the very beginning that it was pulling me away from my convictions as a man and my relationship with God.
So sorry to cut you off. Let's start right there, man. So you said you saw in the beginning, right? So what was it that actually made you, you know, ignore? Because we always talk about, especially in the culture that's literally crazy about red flags. Me and see him as well. We do.
Yeah.
But like, especially in my instance, I was the same way.
Absolutely.
Red flags were shown, but I ignored all of them and continued to go on with what it was I felt I wanted. So what was it about, you? Because like you said, you saw him, and I know you to be like a very mature guy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So what was it, bro?
So for me, it was a lot of things, and it wasn't until after everything was over that I really had a chance to unpack what happened.
Right.
So it was me trying to combat the weaknesses that I saw in my father. And I saw him, and some of his flaws were a little bit more dominant towards my mom, and to where that kind of created separation between them. So what I decided in my mind is that I'm going to go on the entire opposite end of the spectrum and just be extremely passive. But I didn't recognize that it was passive.
Right.
So it was that I was being extremely passive and not stepping up to in my masculinity in a graceful way. But then it was also a Jezebel spirit that I didn't recognize. But one led to the other. Because I was passive, because I was not embracing my manhood and what God called that to be, I was susceptible to the Jezebel spirit. And therefore I was being led spiritually, and my convictions were being hushed. Because I was hushing them. I was saying, be quiet, this is right. What I'm hearing in my ear makes sense, even though I have conviction of what I've been taught is speaking against that.
Wow.
So that's kind of what propelled it to initiate.
So can you, because we always talk about, and I want to rally this, and by no means it's no disrespect, you know how I am.
Absolutely.
So can you honestly say that it was an emotional decision?
Yeah, I definitely say that. I would say that the issue was that I was not coherent because I allowed myself to be moved to make decisions based off of emotions, not just my emotions, but emotion of someone else through the form of manipulation.
Right, got you. So a reason I ask that is because I want to do away with a stigma that says man can't be emotional. Here's the thing.
Let's get to it.
Here's the thing. As a man I was raised by a single mother, I didn't have a man in my life to really show me what it was to be a sober, rational man.
Yeah.
God had to show me that, right? But like I said, I grew up as a very emotional male. We are living in a day and time where it's frowned upon. And I went to this event yesterday, Just Heal Bro, right?
Yeah.
And anybody, they're actually on tour right now. So listen to me. If you are, and look them up, Just Heal Bro.
Yeah.
They're coming to cities near you, man. You have to go and check it out. It was an amazing event. Actually got a chance to see some heavy hitters, some heroes of mine, Mr. Jason Wilson, Dr. Joel Tubman. It was crazy. It was a crazy event, but they made some points that really stuck with me. They say that we live in a stigma in a culture that says men can't be emotional. We're actually shunned upon. We're down for being emotional. Yeah. But Dr. Joel said something. He said that it's funny that women can tell a man that you can't be emotional, not understanding that you actually came from me, right? If we go in the Bible and look, Eve was made from Adam, right?
So the first birth.
The first birth, exactly. So the emotional heart or the emotional identity that a woman has comes from a man. So I need y'all to understand that we can be emotional if we desire to. Being emotional in a healthy way is actually a great thing. You want your man to be emotional. And whether it's your son, whether it's your husband, your boyfriend, you don't want a zombie. You don't want a man who's literally just cold. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy because y'all want a man who's affectionate, but he can't be emotional. Right. They go hand with each other.
Right. The disconnection between this is that we don't realize the purpose of emotions, and so we genderize, if that's a word, emotions because we don't realize the biblical purpose of what emotions are for and why God gave them to us. And so that way, because we have this lack of education, we assign them to the gender that freely expresses their emotions and are more in tune with their emotions, which is women. And because we see them more prevalent in women, we say it's a feminine thing. When it's not, it's a human thing. And God gave us emotions to basically be closer to him. So we can be more in tune with what God feels when we do the right thing or the wrong thing, not to chastise us necessarily or to condemn us, but to help us to understand what Christ experienced on the earth.
Yeah.
And what God feels when we're not in alignment with his will. Yeah. So emotions, when we feel regret, when we feel shame, or when we feel joy or peace or happiness, all of these things are attributes of God.
Right.
And because we get to experience them on a level that animals don't get to, creatures and plants and all these things don't get to experience those things, it's a way of God saying, you are made in my likeness. And I want to show you that.
Absolutely. And so, like I said, we always talk about, I think, we can go to Jesus, and I'm going to make a couple points. Jesus was an emotional man. And the reason I said it, the Bible clearly talks about it. Jesus wept to cry. Yeah. To be able to cry in front of people. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Even the love that he spread throughout his time on earth and in his ministry, that's a level of emotion. Yeah. You dig what I'm saying? Oh, yeah. And so a lot of times, like I said, we see the memes, you see the Tyrese, they make fun of any man who cries, the Will Smith at the Red Table Talk, who was in tears, you know what I'm saying? And then we have so many other moments in culture that we are made fun of for being emotional, not understanding. If you notice, men who usually keep their emotions bottled up and inside, one or two things are going to happen. They're going to explode in their environment, or they're going to implode on themselves. Right? And so you have to understand that make my woman, Tiffany, and I said all the time, one of the things I respect and honor her for the most is that she made a space. She gave me a space to be broken.
That's powerful. Bro,
she gave me a space to be broken. There were times where I'm talking about, because of past histories and relationships, I just had PTSD, and it was so much that was on the inside of me that any given moment I could just snap. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But it wasn't like, you emotional. You just too emotional for me. I can't deal, which is literally the culture that we live in now. If a man cries, or even if he's expressing himself in a manner that literally is like, yo, I'm hurting. And I'm really hurting. And you don't understand. It's like, why are you so emotional? And right then and there, that's when men, it's like we crawl back into our shells. It's just like, you know what? I shouldn't even said anything in the first place.
And you know what I see when I hear that? And I mean, that's so prevalent. Yeah. To where it's become the standard of how men and women interact in relationships. Is that I love you under these conditions that you don't show too much emotion. But what I see that's saying is something even deeper. I see that is saying that in today's society, in today's world, that we don't understand the purpose of marriage and what we're actually doing. We're building oneness. So to fight against someone that you are trying to create oneness with is a contradiction. Yeah. You're trying to be one with this person while at the same time telling them to leave their parts of their humanity aside. You're not trying to become one with them. Right. To become one with someone is to become glued to them, every part of them, as you grow as a unit. Because what marriage is God recognizing two people now as one. Absolutely. And God is a being of unity. As we see the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit is a triune. When God looks at us, he's saying marriage is actually the fusing, the gluing of together. And the Bible even defines it this way: the gluing together of two people now seen in the eyes of God as one. Absolutely. And so what I'm seeing is that the perspective a lot of women have is, I'm becoming one, but really what I'm doing is I'm attracting all the parts of this being that serve me. And what really is happening is, they won't say this, but I am choosing to love myself through you. I want to love me and use everything that's good about you to do that. And so I'm going to extract all the things that serve myself and my peace and my sense of love and safety. I'm gonna extract it out of you, and I'm gonna leave all the parts of you that make you whole and make you human. I'm gonna leave that aside. That's not oneness. That's division.
We got an offering plate around here. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's my God. That's the whole world. That's a whole word, bro. It goes deep. It goes super deep. And so, like I said, so even with us, joining together, I know for me, God wanted me to be more rational, right? To bring more of that man side out of me. You know what I'm saying? Because I was going to be, like you said, conjoined with somebody one day, right? So can we say that God wants a man to have a level of emotion?
Absolutely.
Because you already, you're joining and you're becoming one, that rational side, and then that emotional side, that femininity and that masculinity coming together and becoming one.
Absolutely.
So you can say that God wants a level of emotion shown, not even just had, but shown. And here's the thing, There's always proof that a man is either he's good emotionally, he's healthy emotionally, or he's unhealthy.
Right.
And like I said, it's all face value. We're only going off what we've been seeing in culture, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about the Oscar slap from Will Smith.
Mm-hmm.
To me, I didn't just see a man going up there to hit somebody.
Right.
That was a man who kept so much in for years.
Deeper than the action.
It was so much for years that man kept in, and it imploded. It exploded on the person next to him or the person around him. And this is what continuously happens with men on a daily basis, right? And then it gets so bad to the point where we literally get to the places of suicide. The numbers are the highest amongst men, black men, any type of men, because you want us to be around. You want us to be men for you. But you don't allow us to be men, and therefore you end up losing us in so many different ways. You dig what I'm saying? And so I think I am here, and I believe that God has put the mantle on my life to do so, is to do away with this cultural view of what a man is.
I'm with it.
I am so tired of it.
Yeah.
You're not going to sit here and tell me, and this is no shot at the ladies. We love y'all. We understand that we need y'all. But you can't tell me how to be a man.
Exactly.
You can't do it. You don't even know how. You wouldn't even know where to begin. I was raised by a single mother. I was. But I understand the absence, the void that it left by not having a father.
Yeah.
Because I truly believe this. If I grew up and had my mother, that emotional side to me, I would have had, if my father was there would have been a balance. But you see, I grew up too emotional. You know what I'm saying? I took everything to heart, very hard. Just very hard. Just not understanding that my father was supposed to be there to tell me, man, life was going to happen. That's the rational side.
That's the father side.
That's the father side. That's the rational side. Yo, life is going to happen, son. And this is what you need to do. This is how you need to cope. You know what I'm saying? And so I am here, like I said, I'm not trying to, we not here to bash Will Smith. We're not. We don't know him personally. And I don't know what that situation is personally, but there's a lot of men who I know, who I do know personally, who would rather bottle things in than to get the help. And I ain't talking about just going to therapy, because I think another thing, and this is no shot, but I truly believe this, we have, even though therapy is a great source, it's a great resource, right? We have made it a handicap. And the reason I'm going to say that is simply due to the fact that
I see that.
I'm gonna tell you right now who healed me. God did.
Oh yeah.
And then this is just the truth. And like I said, I'm a Christian and I'm not bashing therapy. Yes, please, if you have a therapist, go to therapy. But I think a lot of times, a lot of people go to therapy to avoid accountability.
Oh yeah. And to create an excuse, a way out of facing God. Because what therapy helps do is it helps bring a lot of those things that are dormant inside your heart to the surface.
Yeah.
But what God comes and does is he comes and heals all of that.
Come on, man.
You know what I'm saying? So therapy has its place on a soulical level where it helps us to uproot some of those things that are deep.
Yeah.
You know, it helps us to understand the psyche of humanity, and it helps us to uproot some of those traumatic things that we have buried down. Right. You know, the coping mechanisms that we covered, layers and layers of dirt on top of issues. Absolutely. Right? So what therapy helps do is uproot those things, and then God, the farmer, the cultivator, comes through and says, okay, these are weeds. I need to get these out. So the soil's fresh again.
That's so good, man.
So you need both.
You need both. They work away at each other. And so, like I said, with the whole Will Smith, like I said, I could really relate. I've seen so many memes about the man, and just him.
Sad, man.
It's sad. It's truly sad. But there are so many men who are going through the same thing, who really just cry themselves to sleep at night, who are looking for peace. You know what I'm saying? And it's kind of hard because sometimes that peace that a man is looking for is in a cry. But culture has literally choked.
Don't cry.
Don't cry. Man up. All this other stuff. Man, listen, it's Jason Wilson who was it was surreal to see my heroes and just see him like I'm literally a couple of inches away from him. I actually was able to have a conversation with Jason Wilson. Shout out to him, man. It's an honor, man. And I was able to, I told him, I was like, your books, Cry Like a Man, please. Every man needs to go get this book. Every man, Cry Like a Man, go get it. And also his other book, War Cry. he talks about not feeling man enough. You know what I'm saying? He talks about the things of him crying. You know, he's like, I wouldn't cry. I didn't cry with my wife for a long time because I was always taught that if I cried, I wasn't a man.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And with this whole thing, and we talked about the definition of man, right? And Jason Wilson makes this point. He said, you can't define man. You cannot define them. He said, the minute you give them a definition is the minute you leave them.
Yeah. That's good.
That's bro. I was sitting there in the front row like, oh my God, he's giving me so much game.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy. And then he says that the real definition of a man is being able to be anything at any given moment. Right? And so at one point you may need to be a husband.
Right.
I can be that husband in that moment.
Sometimes.
And you maybe need to be a father.
Yep.
I will be that father in that moment. I need to be a brother. I could be that brother. That's manhood.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so, but even him saying that, he said, I had to go to a place to understand, to be there for the people that I wanted to be there for. I had to make sure that I was in check.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is, man, he said, I cried at the drop of a hat now.
Yeah.
And he has a black belt. This man is dangerous. He's dangerous. But he has a gym who's in the Detroit metropolitan LA the area, and it's called the Cable with Dillon. And he always talks about, talks with young men. He talks with you know what I'm saying? He tells them like, yo, why are you not crying?
Yeah. Holding that in. And to me, I think that's really what weakness is.
It's come on.
Not being able to, because you have to be man enough to face what people tell you isn't a man when you know that it is.
Come on, man.
That's being a man, is really saying, no, this is a man.
No, this is I'm a grown man.
No, yeah, I know that. And the manhood part of it is being secure. It's like, I can cry while you try to challenge my masculinity, and I can tell you that this is okay because I'm confident in knowing enough to know I am a man. And you don't dictate whether or not I believe that. You know what I'm saying? I know that I am. And crying is a part of what I need to do. Another part is we need to self-regulate when it comes to our emotions. And a lot of times that means just having a cry.
Yeah.
Because we know as a man, okay, if I don't cry and get this out, it's going to build up and build up and build up, and I'm gonna do something that I don't want to do. So in order to govern myself accordingly to the image of God, I gotta cry.
Absolutely.
Like Jesus did.
He cried.
The burden got heavy.
Man, listen, he was in the Garden of Gethsemane crying.
Tears flowing. Like God, ministering with tears.
He was in fear. And we always we're all, like I said, this culture has really, I'm gonna go here, bamboozled us into thinking that being masculine doesn't mean I can't be in touch with my emotional side. Right. You know what I'm saying? We have literally, and this is another thing. Like I said, this I can talk about just Hillbro every day, all day. This just the knowledge they was dropping on us, man. Like we have defined, we have made the word masculinity its own definition. And truthfully, it's nothing more than an adjective.
Come on.
Masculinity is nothing more than an adjective.
Yeah.
It does not say who I am. It's a part of who I am.
Yeah. There's so much more to it.
It's so much more to it. We have literally said, well, masculinity is shown through doing, while femininity is just being, right?
That's crazy. Isn't it?
It's completely crazy. Like it's almost like if you're feminine, that means you're not doing something, which literally makes you less of a man.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
And it's like that's not the case.
Yeah.
I'm the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
This is who God has created me to be.
Yeah.
This is literally this is what God has literally created me to be. And I can be that individual, right? And so just to go back, right, we see here, and like I said, this episode is called the Will and Jada Pinkett-Smith.
Yeah.
Right? And so I've seen through the tabloids for years, I seen a man who really loves his wife.
Yeah, I see that too. As a man, I can see, and this is a little bit of my perspective on it. Obviously, like you said, we don't know all of the details.
Of course.
But speaking, and this has weight because I am a man and I am married. Speaking from a man who is married, and what little that I have seen as a man, I can tell he is committed to that marriage. He puts himself and his status and his image at risk every single time he defends his wife. Yeah. So when he got up on that stage, he was ready to risk everything that he lost. From a man's perspective, he knew that getting up. He said, if I get up out this seat, I'm gonna risk all this stuff that I've built as a man, and I'm saying getting up on this stage that it's worth it. Yeah. That shows love on the sacrificial level of what a man is supposed to be, which is to lay down his life. All this stuff in my life that I've built up to make the name of Fresh Prince and Will, I'm willing to sacrifice all of that because it can be destroyed with this moment. Right. But I'm saying with this moment as well that I love my wife more than that image.
Right. And I saw that, but what I also saw was a man, and this is where I related to him. I also saw a man who was screaming for the attention of his wife.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely.
You understand what I'm saying? The love, the same love that I'm literally pouring out of myself. I'm asking for it back. Now I've been there. Oh, yeah, you go above and beyond. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. And it's almost like trying to fill a barrel of water with a whole bunch of holes in it. Yep. It's like no matter how much you pour, no matter how much you give, it's not being reciprocated, which means you feel like I have to start doing more. Now, here's the crazy thing, and this is what I've said. I've said to Tiffany, because we would talk about it, and I would get passionate or upset, whatever you want to call it, but I would get upset about it because I can relate. I'm not just looking at his relationship with his wife. There is something that literally goes beyond that. And what I'm saying is, if you can sit here and take that kind of what we seen, public abuse, and you feel like that's okay, something happened earlier to you.
Set the standard.
That set that standard, that set that bar to say that what I'm receiving at this point is okay. And that's what I related to. A lot of my relation, I'm not nowhere near blaming my mother, right? But people know my story, right? And so a lot of my relationships into my adulthood had a lot to do with her, right? Had a lot to do with it. So, and even my father, feeling abandoned from my father and, you know, not receiving the quote unquote love that I felt I should have received from my mother, it put me in a position where I feel like I had to do more. You know what I'm saying? I had to go above and beyond. Mom, do you see me? You know what I'm saying? And it's not because my mom didn't want to see me. She was going through her own life.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
She's still living.
Like she was still living, right? And so even with my father, like I wanted to play ball. It wasn't for me. I wanted to play ball because that's what my dad did. And that's how we related. And I feel like I need to be the best I could possibly be playing ball. You know what I'm saying? I was decent. I wasn't all that. But
so in a sense, you had to earn your manhood.
I had literally.
You had to earn the medal of a man.
That's what it was. And I'm just like, God, like, and it started to get like that with relationships that I would have, right? So I would get into these relationships. These girls would show me right off the bat, bro, I'm not digging you the way you digging me like that. But Sydney, there was that little boy Sydney that was still in them relationships saying, but I want you to like me. Please, like me. I'm right here. I'm good enough. I will do any and everything. Even got into some trouble because I wanted to get some attention. You dig what I'm saying? Yeah. So when I look at Will, I'm like, man, I feel like we need to deal with little boy Will.
Yeah. It's in a man. God has designed man to need honor. Yeah. God has made us in his image, and men need honor from their woman. Yeah. And if we're not getting that supply met, then we're going to search for it. Any need that's not being met is going to be searched for until you obtain it. Yeah. And God has created relationships for the woman in her femininity to naturally supply that to a man as he needs it, because we all need it, but we need it in different ways. Yeah. And only a woman who is trying to study her man and learn her man, which comes with a desire of oneness, will know exactly how he needs that honor for him. And that's, like I said from earlier, that's being displaced because the desire isn't oneness. Yeah. The desire a lot of times is more selfish, and a lot of times we don't even realize that it's selfish. Yeah. I'm trying to be loved through you. So I'm using you in this life to get the love that I want out, and then I would just leave you. Yeah. But oneness says, I am here to serve and to love you. So what I'm going to do is write down all my notes and study you to figure out exactly how I can fit in those gaps to create the best possible unit I possibly can so we can have the most fulfilling marriage on both ends. Because I know if I do my part, then I'm making the cup more full and more stable so that I can get filled too.
Good stuff, bro.
That is the definition of oneness. I'm not in here to get my thirst quenched. I'm in here to create the cup sturdy so that we both are filled. You know, we're both the same cup. Bro.
That's some good stuff, man.
That's oneness.
That's what it's supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? And so, like I said, going with our own personal experience, and we've talked about your first marriage and everything, and we talked about relationships that I've been in. What can we, from our own experience, not being able to? That's what this episode is about. It's not about Will and Jada,
right?
But it's deeper than that. It's about men who go through every day in life not feeling wanted, not feeling loved, not feeling received. We've been there. Thank the Lord Almighty, we grew, and we have beautiful women who show us and honor us in the way that they do. But there are men out here who have been in positions like a Will Smith, been in positions even like a Tyrese Gibson, you know what I'm saying, and so many other places. Now, you may not even be in a relationship. Maybe it's just that you don't feel like you have a safe space to really break down.
Right.
And you are literally on the brink of imploding.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I want to give them encouragement at this point in the show because, like I said, we were talking one way and I just feel a shift. And y'all know me, I'm saved. I'm a Christian. And wherever God leads me, that's where we go. Right?
That's where we go.
That's where we go. So I feel like we need to encourage these guys because, like I said, if anybody ain't told you today, man, we need you. We need you. We need you. Have no idea, and this is no and take a shot at anybody else, okay? But I need you to understand the importance of men. The world is in the shape it is right now because men are falling out of place. Period. There is no if ands buts about it.
100.
There is no if ands but men's are out of the homes, and it's crazy because my girl pointed out a thing. She actually showed me about a dream about why there are not a lot of boys that are being born at this point in time. It's a lot of girls that are being born because, and the reason she believes, and I 100% agree, is because there aren't men in place to raise them. And I know for me, being a father is going to be one of the greatest joys of my life.
It is, yeah. It is.
Because there is a part of me that has so much love to give.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, I give my love to my lady. I give my love to the Lord. I give my love to my family.
Yeah.
But it's when you have something in you, and I'm trying not to tear up because I'm telling you, being a dad is going to be, it's going to solidify me being here.
And I'm gonna say this as a father. I think in the deepest essence of manhood, that's what it is. That feeling of, I have so much love to give.
Yeah.
Because men are inserters. We are the ones that serve with what we give and what we offer to put it in something. You know what I'm saying? So the essence of what a man is, before I got married, before I even started pursuing my wife, my current wife, I felt this deep desire to love something.
Yeah.
And I'm like, God, you have given me such an abundance of love that there's no way that you have intended for me just to be for me, to be with me. Like, I have to get this out. You know what I'm saying? I have to love somebody like crazy because that's just what you made me to be. That is the essence of what a man is. And whenever a man feels like that and he's ready to offer that to something, what comes with it is leadership. When it comes with protection, it comes with grace, it comes with a desire to understand, it comes with emotional stability, it comes with the ability to adjust and flexibility. That's masculinity. Able to be, you know what I'm saying? I'm able to be what this family needs to grow. I'm able to be what I need to be in my career because this love propels me to insert this out there.
Absolutely.
It's in me.
Yeah. And so I just, everything that he explained, everything that we're talking about, And everything in this platform is about, I need men to understand, bro.
Yeah.
And I'm trying not to get emotional because, like I said, I feel y'all. I do. I've had conversations with countless brothers who literally just like, I don't know what to do with myself. Yeah. I don't have no identity, bro, outside of my family. I don't know what to do. If everything was to break down around me, I wouldn't even know who I am, bro. Right. What I'm telling you is who you are first, you're a man. I don't care if you lost your job. Mm-hmm. I don't care if there's not a woman around to show you that or honor you that you're a man. If you have children who don't, in some cases, don't want you to be around, you're still a man.
Still a man.
I need you to understand that first. You having $1 million or having $1 in your pocket, that is literally adaptation. That's lit. It's only in addition to who you are. That's it. And that's something I literally went through a season where I lost everything. Lost a job, lost identity, lost cars, lost, so much. Yeah. And what God was trying to show me, he was like, outside of everything that literally is added to you, what I've created you to be at your core. When they said, and they spanked your bottom at the hospital, they said it was a boy, you were a man.
Yeah.
You didn't have anything then. Yeah. All you had was in so many cases, your voice. Yeah. You started crying. How like, I need you to think about that. They kill you for wanting to cry. But when you came out, that was the first thing you did.
It's good. That let them know that you're alive.
That let them know that you are alive.
That's good.
Come on, man. I cry now. And it don't even have to be sad. I could be extremely happy and will cry. You dig what I'm saying? Yeah. Because that's the type of man that God wants us to be. To be able, and I want to talk to even the fathers out there who are stopping your sons from crying. Stop it. Yeah. I need you to stop.
Let them be human.
Let them, because the first thing you are before your gender, you're human.
You're
before human
man.
First.
Yeah.
You're human first. We cry. We are emotional. We are down. We get stressed out. We get overwhelmed as men. And this is a crowd to any man. Rather, it's anybody who's going to see this. Will sees it. I'm telling you, no matter what you have, it don't make you a man. What you are at your core is you're a man. You are a man.
Yeah. And with men, I think that we categorize weakness, or the world categorizes weakness from a man inappropriately. Yeah. Men face weakness. And I think the definition of strength is the ability to do that. Yeah. I face my weakness. And if I cannot cry, that means there's something that I'm not facing. Yeah. That's not strength. Yeah. Strength for me is going into the place that I fear most, or that I feel like I will be most exposed, or that I feel like my image will be most wrecked, and say I'm going in anyway. Because if I don't go in, it won't be addressed. If I don't go in, I won't grow past that. If I don't grow in, it will still hold captive over me in my life. So what am I going to do? As a man, I'm going to face that, and say I'm going in that room and I'm make sure that whatever that is holding me down is destroyed or removed. Whatever I need to do that. If I need to cry, if I need to show that I'm capable of crying in front of multiple people, I'll do that. Yeah. Men face weakness. Yeah. And it's just like going to the gym. Like, I know you and I work out. I have seen countless people, let me not just say men, I've seen countless people go into the gym day after day after day. What are they doing? They're going in there and they're picking up the weight that they're so used to. I do this all the time, and it's really a confidence thing. I just want to feel confident. So I'm carrying this weight that I'm used to. What a strong person will do is go into the gym and find a weight that they know they cannot handle. Yes, and when they pick it up, what do they look like? They look weak. Yeah. But they're strong because they're facing that weakness. That is, in essence, masculinity. I'm facing what I'm not good at. I'm capable of looking awkward. I'm capable of looking unbalanced. I'm capable of looking like I don't have it together because I'm getting it together. Yeah. And I'm strong enough to stay in this process until I hold it strong and I'm good. Yeah. Because I know I did that.
That is amazing, bro. Like, that is so huge. We are here. I believe that God has set aside special men for the next wave that's coming.
It's coming.
And it's going to start. I really believe there's going to be a turn of the tide that's going to start with men. And brothers, I want y'all to get ready, because as I stated before, I'm we are a part of a dying breed, brother. We are men who are in touch with God, who is everything.
Yeah.
I believe that God cries. I used to be, it was weird. I used to be I'm like, why would it rain? I was younger. And they were like, it's because God is crying.
Yeah, I thought that too.
You know what I'm saying? Like, God is crying, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, it's a beautiful thought.
It is.
But however, I do know that Jesus cried for me on Calvary.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, I do believe that Jesus, while he was in the Garden of Gethsemane, while he's facing that fear, while he's facing that fear and crying, saying, I don't want to do this, I know those tears was for me.
And that was a real moment, bro.
Come on, it's the realest of moments.
I want to do this.
Come on, listen, in this season I just passed, there was a time, and me and my woman prayed every single night, and I was angry with God. Angry with him. We in the car praying, and literally she has my hand. And all I didn't want to do no fluff prayer. I didn't want to do nothing. I literally held her hand, and I got quiet for a minute. Then I just said, God, your will be done. And it was hard. It was one of the hardest moments in my life. And I said it with tears in my eyes. God, your will be done. That's all I can say. That's all I can say.
That moment, I'm gonna tell you right now, that you're gonna discover it more and more. That moment changed your life. I guarantee you that moment changed who you are as a person.
Yes.
Because God allows us to get to those points where we're like, there is absolutely no way I want to say this, I want to do this, but I'm gonna do it anyway, and I'm gonna just go through it and I'm gonna embrace it. The reason that's so hard is because you are literally, it's almost like changing your DNA mentally.
Dude.
You are performing a miracle because if you think about it, God, the way we change the world is changing the way we see the world.
Yeah.
Every time I change the way I see the world, I literally miraculously change the world because I'm changing my experience in it. So what happens in those moments is God is like, you have to shift the way you are looking at this. And the only way to do this is to submit, let go, let it hurt, embrace it. And when you finally agree, not just, all right, drag me into this. When you finally agree and shift, you repent from an entire lifestyle. An entire you shifts in that moment. Bro. And that's what God is trying to get out of you. He can't take your shoulders and shift it for you. He has to let you get to the point where you feel like you're about to break and you say, I'm going to embrace. Yeah. I embrace it instead of just being broken. And that changes you.
Dog, but even with that, we got to think about it. A lot of time, of course, and I'm going to stay on this thing of being emotional and crying and being vulnerable. Right. In the Garden of Gethsemane, it was that moment, that vulnerable moment when Jesus in the garden that led him to destiny. Yeah. You dig what I'm saying? Yeah. We are trying to stop our men from crying. And I believe it to be a distraction. Come on. Counterproductive, and it's a distraction from men being led to destiny. You have to understand that you bottling all these things up, bottling the tears, the frustration, and the anger that you're feeling, bottling all this up is stopping you from going to where God wants you to go.
And it's also dishonesty.
Come on.
Because you're trying to hide it from whom? God knows. Not only does God know what you experience in this moment, he knows every limit to emotion that you're going to feel in the future. He knows. So you trying to hide it from who?
From who?
And for what is a question that should be asked. Because if why is to protect your image when God knows who you are, and he's not only knows who you are, he's building who you should be. Yeah. Then why? It's counterproductive to hide that. I get in the car when I'm, like I told you this, we have discussions. And many times for me, it's on the way to work. And I am just like frustrated or sad. And it is like the height of that emotion. Like I'm in the car, it's early in the morning, nobody's on the road. I'm either yelling, furious, but I'm allowing myself to get to that capacity of emotion so that me and God have an honest moment. Oh. And then I can get ministered to from the top of that mountain of whatever I'm feeling. He said, now I can break it down for you. Yeah. But if you hold even just a pinch of that mountain from exposing to God or yourself, then you're only going to get so much teaching and so much understanding and so much of a repentance from where you were headed in the wrong direction. Yeah. It's your submission to God that allows you to change direction.
Come on, man. This is some good stuff.
They say Jesus take the wheel. I mean,
that's him taking it. You know what I mean? Like, but this is huge. But like I said, this This episode was definitely special for me. Again, no take on Will and Jada. And I have to keep, saying that because I don't want nobody saying anything. This was an episode for the masses of men who are basically dealing in silence. This is for y'all. I need you. I did an episode last season saying it's time to talk. It's time to speak. And I'm saying it again. As a matter of fact, I want you, when you watch this episode or listen to this episode, I want you to do some homework. I want you to literally get a piece of paper. I want you to write down everything that you're feeling. And as you write, if the tears want to fall, let them fall. Let them fall.
Be real.
Or if it's not something that you want to write, that you want to tell, if you have somebody that you can trust and you know that you won't be judged and it's a safe space for you.
Yeah.
You're thinking that you being silent and just handling or manning up as you manning up is actually not. It's actually showing how weak you are. To be able to be vulnerable. You said that to me before. The greatest sign of strength is literally going to the most vulnerable places.
Go there. Face it.
Letting people see the chink in your armor. I need you to understand that you're not Superman. You have super moments, but you are not Superman. Okay? I need you guys to really be open. This is a new thing. This is a new way. We bringing good men back. We're bringing healthy men back.
Yeah.
That is my job as a voice for men. This is what we're doing. I'm done with the whole thing. I'm sick and tired of seeing my men on tabloids and everything else killing themselves.
Yeah.
I'm tired.
Bothers me, bro.
Dog, it was hard. Like, even earlier this year, we had David Frank, who is Tommy from Power Rangers, killed himself. He was 50-something years old. That was hard.
And it's a shocker. Like,
it was a whole shocker. Not understanding that the worst place, and thank God, I'm telling you, Just Heal, bro, changed my life and it changed the game for me. That the worst place, the most dangerous place for a man to be is alone in his thoughts.
It's not good for man to be alone.
It's not good for man to be alone. And we're not just talking about relationships. It's hard for even men to have a brotherhood.
Yeah.
It was hard for me for years.
Yeah.
But God has literally opened me up, opened my emotional heart, opened me up, made my heart took it from stone and turned it to flesh. And now I'm able to have conversations with my brothers.
Yeah.
Talk to them when I'm down. I call this man often when I'm feeling the weight of being a man, because it's a weight. It's a responsibility. Why do you think that God has given man broader shoulders than women?
Yeah.
Because it's a weight being a man.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. It's not a weight that you need to carry on your own. So I need you guys this week. I really need you to do some soul searching, man.
And find someone.
Find
Find a brother. Like, when we were talking, I told you something that like what you just said. I find it so necessary to have another guy in your life that you trust, that you can bear all to.
Yeah.
I mean, you won't survive without it. And it doesn't have to be a father. It doesn't have to be a brother or a cousin. In fact, I would try to say lean more away from family and find someone else in the spirit that you can call and say, hey, man, this is the real of the real. I'm not holding back none of the details. I'm not trying to show you that I'm built up. I'm trying to show you that I'm built. You need that. I have that. We have that, and I think that is what causes us to survive, is that we have someone that we could call to and say, man, I'm not feeling it. You could call me angry.
Yeah.
I mean, angry.
Yeah.
You could call me sad. I mean, crying. You know what I'm saying? It don't matter. And what I'm saying, someone that you rely on is someone that you know that you can show your rock bottom to, and they're not going to look at you different. Yeah. They still going to respect you as the man that has it all together. You need another man in your life that is capable of doing that. And as we show them that that's possible, they in order, start getting it together for themselves. Bro. So I hope that we can show that is possible and necessary.
It's very necessary. And like I said, Just Hill Bro really told me that a lot of brothers from Detroit came out and we were actually able to connect with each other. We locked arms with each other. Brothers who ain't never don't know nothing about each other, that comes from all walks of life. Yeah. And in that moment, we were able to come together and do something. So this week, man, if you have somebody that you know you can trust and you feel like they won't judge you and it's a safe space for you, I really need you to stop trying to be a man and be a man. Yeah. Stop trying to be a man. Yeah. You holding it in, that's trying. Yeah. Being a man is talking. Mm-hmm. Being a man is crying. Mm-hmm. That's what really being a man is. Yeah. I'm 31 years old, and I just found that out a year ago. Mm-hmm. Held so many different things in. But as a man, I am a grown man. This is a grown man. We cry. We talk to one another. We build a bond. This is my brother. Mm-hmm. You have some of those in your life, and even if you don't, go write down what you are feeling. I journal. I journal. You know what I'm saying? I have a plethora of journals with thoughts, pains, you know, even prayers that I'm asking God. You know what I'm saying? I talk, you know, even if it's in my writing. But what I need you to do this week, I need you to get it off your chest. Get that weight off your chest. Have an emotional enema. Yeah. Get it out, man.
It's human.
Get it out. You're human. You're human. It's okay. I'm telling you, and if I'm the first person to let you know, I'm letting you know it's okay that you're hurting. Yeah. It's okay that you feel like you're not receiving the love that you're getting. Yeah. It's okay. It's actually very normal. It happens often, and especially in the culture that we live in today. But you have release, brother. Your release is your voice. Your release is being able to write it down, get it off your chest, and let God handle the rest.
Absolutely, man.
Brother, I really appreciate you coming through, rocking with your boy, man. We have so much great content this season. God is doing an amazing thing where I don't want to talk about it. We have so many different things that are coming, so much great content, partnerships, everything. So y'all just pray for us as we continue to do what we do in ministry and building back up that manhood and what it really means to be a man. I love you all, and I will see you guys in episode 3. Peace.